Hi there, this is Solitary Ronan from Solitary Ronan Films, and welcome to another video of my consecutive criterions. This is actually the last episode of my consecutive criterions, and then I'm going to start my consecutive Eureka Masters of Cinema, because not as many people talk about the Eureka Masters of Cinema line compared with Criterion, obviously. So this is actually a run of 5 spine numbers in a row. So again, this isn't going to be an in-depth discussion. This is just going to be a little overview of these titles. So number 959, a seminal film by Norman Jewison. It's In the Heat of the Night from 1967, starring Rod Steiger and Sidney Poitier. And this is a classic that still stands up very well, shot by Axel Wexler, who of course did John Sayles Matewan. Quincy Jones did the score. Again, sadly, still relevant. There is a 4K, and I do have the 4K from Kino Lorber, with the 3 films, but this is just the Blu-ray from Criterion. This is a 4K digital restoration. There's new new interviews with Norman Jewison and Lee Grant. There's a segment from 2006 AFI interview with Sidney Poitier, a new interview with Aram Goudozian, author of Sidney Poitier, Man, Actor, Icon. There's a commentary from 2008 featuring Jewison, Grant, Rod Steiger and Axel Wexler. And Turning Up the Heat, Movie Making in the 60s, a 2008 programme about its production of the film and its legacy, featuring Jewison, Wexler, Walter Marsh, the producer, and John Singleton and Reginald Hudlin. And Quincy Jones' Breaking New Sound, a 2008 programme about Jones' innovative soundtrack, including the title song sung by Ray Charles. Featuring interviews with Jones, Alan and Marlon Bergman and Herbie Hancock. And there's a trailer and there's an essay in the booklet. Getting great performances. Steiger is actually a little bit toned down for Steiger. Number 960 is La Verite by Clouseau. Again, this run of 5 kind of shows you a nice range of the Criterion, as we know. This is a Clouseau with Brigitte Bardot. I don't actually have that many Brigitte Bardot films. This is from 1960. It's 128 minutes, and it is a little bit over long, I feel. And most of it is a courtroom drama, with Brigitte Bardot as the suspect of a murder. It's not one of my favourite Clouseaus, but still is cold and unfeeling and bleak and misanthropic, so that's all fine. The usual Clouseau goodness. This is a 4K digital restoration as well, and there's a 60-minute documentary from 2017 with Scandal Clouseau on Clouseau, strange enough, and there's an interview from 1960 with Clouseau and an interview with Brigitte Bardot from the 1982 documentary Brigitte Bardot Tel Quel. There's a new English subtitle translation, and there's an essay by Jeanette Vonsondeux, who's one of my favourite supplemental providers. She does a lot of great work with Studio Canal, all the Jacques Becker stuff, and Melville. Yeah, so kind of a Clouseau that isn't really talked about that much. Yeah, it's a little bit overlong, but certainly well worth a look. And 961, if you really want cheered up, Ingmar Bergman's Shame. This is a Region A Blu-ray. I should say Heat of the Night's Region A and La Verite is Region B. So this is a Region A of Shame, which I do have in the big box by Criterion, but this film deserves its own edition. This is from 1968, 103 minutes. This is absolutely brutal, about a couple who are having relationship problems, and there is a kind of war, a kind of conflict going on in the country, and it follows their internal war with the war that's going on around them. It is bleak AF, as the kids might say. Max von Sydow and Liv Ullmann give tremendous performances. It looks beautiful because, again, a lot of people do underestimate Bergman's compositional eye. This is a 2K restoration interview with Bergman, a brief excerpt from a press conference from the film recorded in 1967 and 68 for Swedish television, new interview with actor Liv Ullmann, and an introduction to Ingmar Bergman, a 1968 documentary made during the film's production, featuring exclusive interview with Bergman, and a new subtitle translation, and there is an essay by critic Michael Skraboff. It's a great cover. That just sums the film up entirely. One of Bergman's truly great films. It's almost even too bleak for me, but not quite. And then 962 from Visconti, Death in Venice. Yeah, all these films seem to be quite cheery. This is from 1971, 131 minutes, with Dirk Bogarde giving a wonderful performance as an ageing gentleman trying to not look ageing, and having a object of desire, as Brunel would put it. This is a 4K restoration. It was a 2008 documentary about Visconti, featuring Burt Lancaster and Marcello Mastroianni and Francesco Rossi and Zeffirelli, amongst others. And then there's Alla Riccieri di Tazio, a 1970 short film by Visconti. There's a new programme featuring literature and cinema scholar Stefano Albertini. There's an interview from 2006 with the costume designer Piero Tossi. There's an excerpt from the 1990 programme about the music in Visconti's films featuring Bogarde and Marissa Berenson. There's an interview with Visconti from 1971. And Visconti's Venice, a short 1970 behind-the-scenes documentary featuring Visconti and Dirk Bogarde, and a trailer. And there's an essay by critic Dennis Lim, based on a novel by Thomas Mann. It's just, you can almost smell the decay in the way kind of Dirk Bogarde has that makeup in his face. It's a sinking city and a sinking man. It's just really languid and depressing and lovely. And then finally, Spy Number 963, a film that I did a random review on some time ago. This is Charles Burnett's To Sleep With Anger with Danny Glover. Danny Glover not in a mainstream Hollywood film where he's too old for this shit, even though he was only 36, I think, when he made Lethal Weapon, so must have retired quite early. This is from 1990, 102 minutes, and it's almost like an American version of Theorem, where a stranger comes into a family and disrupts the whole family. This is a 4K restoration approved by Charles Burnett. There's a new interview piece of family and folklore featuring Burnett, Danny Glover, Cheryl Lee Ralph and associate producer Linda Coulsis. A walk with Charles Burnett, a new hour-long conversation between Burnett and filmmaker Robert Townsend that revisits Burnett's films and shooting locations, which is fantastic. It's a short video tribute to Burnett produced by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences Governors Award Ceremony in 2017, and there's an essay by Ashley Clark. It's a really great little film, and again, some of Danny Glover's finest work outside the Hollywood mainstream, let's be honest, where most people do their finest work. So I mean, that's my final consecutive criterions. Again, a lovely little mix of Criterion titles, because that's one of the great things about Criterion. Every spine number contains something completely different from the spine number before it. So please let me know if you have any of these films, and if you've seen any of these films. I'm sure you've seen at least one of these films, and hopefully you enjoyed that little series of a consecutive spine number trip through my Criterion collection. And as I said, I'll be starting my Eureka Masters of Cinema, because again, not many people talk about Masters of Cinema because they don't release as many as obviously Criterion do, but they have some amazing stuff, both historically important and just masterworks. So thanks very much for watching. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying farewell.